From the Berkshires to the Sound, from wherever you live in MLB America, this is Inside the Parker. You give us 22 minutes and we'll give you the scoop on Major League Baseball. Now, here's Baseball Hall of Fame voter number 57.
You have another hot take.
Will not NOT make the playoffs.
Shohei me the money.
Rob Parker.
Come on! I've been covering Major League Baseball for almost 40 years now. In New York, in Cincinnati, in Detroit, in LA. I love this game. Let's go! Welcome into the podcast, and I'm your host, Rob Parker. And what a show we have for you today. Before we even get started, remember, press this button, the subscribe button, so that you're always here, always up to date with all the best coverage of Major League Baseball. As you know, I've been covering baseball since 1986. I love the sport. This is the place for your baseball fix. Inside the Parker, sponsored by Cuffin Season. Lock in the flavor your taste buds will love at cuffinseason.us. Get yours today. And for an extra 10% off, use the code MLBbro in all caps. Welcome into the podcast. I'm your host, Rob Parker, and what a show we have for you today. Coming up, we'll talk with Washington Nationals star young slugger, James Wood. He joins us, plus Sweeny Murti from MLB Media. Plus, we'll do a little foul or fair, that and much more. Let's go.
To lead off, it's Getting Robbed.
And keep them up.
Rob's hot take on the three biggest stories in Major League Baseball. Number 1.
This past week, outfielder slugger Sammy Sosa returned to Wrigley Field for the first time in 21 years. And I got to tell you, I was touched by it. It was an enormous ovation by the Cubs faithful. And despite all the stuff about the juice and all that not making the Hall of Fame, I think it was very clear that people appreciated the moments that he supplied for them over those many years and those fun summer days and nights at Wrigley. Take a listen to the ovation for Sammy Sosa.
For the first time in 21 years. Please welcome back Cubs legend Sammy Sosa.
Number 2.
On Tuesday, Chase Burnes made his major league debut for the Cincinnati Reds. Their top pitching prospect, the 22-year-old right-hander, pitched against the Yankees at the Great American Ballpark. In the minor leagues, he was 7-3, had a 1.77 ERA, 89 strikeouts in 66 innings with just 13 walks. I was in Cincinnati, and I got to watch him pitch in person. Here's what I saw. To say the least, Chase Burnes was electric. Oh, my God, to be in Great American Ballpark and see this fine, hard-throwing right-hander make his debut against the Yankees was amazing. He struck out the first 5 batters he faced, and then after giving up a hit to Jazz Chisholm, he struck out his 6th batter. So the first 6 outs he recorded in Major League Baseball were all strikeouts. His stuff was electric. It was a memorable moment. The crowd was wild. It was a great scene. And to see this young pitcher burst onto the scene was amazing. We got a lot to look forward to in this guy's very young major league career. And I'm glad I was in Cincy for it.
Number 3.
At this point, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Scott Miller, the longtime baseball writer who lost his battle with cancer this past week at age 62. Scott and I We're friends. We covered so many big games together, spent time around each other. A great guy who loved baseball, wrote a lot of great baseball books, and is gone way too soon. One of our BBWAA brethren is gone, and we will miss him. His love, his laugh, his friendly time spent with each other in the press box. It is definitely a sad situation.
Here comes the big interview. Listen and learn.
Oh, it's so good.
Now let's welcome into the podcast Washington Nationals outfielder and slugger, James Wood. James, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. What a season you're having. Home runs, RBIs, everything. How much fun are you having so far?
I mean, it's been an experience. I mean, I'm having a lot of fun. We got a good group of guys in the locker room, and it's just a blessing to come to the ballpark every day.
How about the idea? I know you've heard people talking. No one's talking about making the All-Star team and the season that you put together. What would that mean to you to make the All-Star team? And is that something that maybe you dreamt about or thought about when you were coming up or a kid?
I mean, yeah, it would be cool. I mean, I always was watching the All-Star game and all of that growing up, and I mean, it would just be something really special to be a part of.
Favorite player of all time? Who were you idolizing back then when you were growing up?
I mean, when I first picked up a bat, I was trying to swing like Barry Bonds, since that was like the earliest I can remember.
Barry Bonds, most people consider him the best hitter ever, and obviously the power. Did you emulate his batting stance?
Not really. He just had the bat with the tape on it, and I mean the bat I had looked nothing like it, but I thought I looked like him swinging it. So.
How about the hitting home runs and the power? Everybody can't hit home runs. We talk about it all the time. Did you know, or do you try to hit home runs? Is it just natural? You're trying to make solid connection, or what are you trying to do when you're at the plate?
I mean, I just want to hit the ball hard. I mean, I just think good things happen when that's my plan. I just think it simplifies it. And yeah, I can't really try and hit them. I feel like that kind of gets me into trouble. So I mean, I just try and make good contact.
Our guest, James Wood from the Washington Nationals, of course, slugger, outfielder. Talk about playing basically in your hometown. You know, you're from Maryland. Here's the local team. What is that like, and how much fun is that to be able to play in front of your parents and family and friends? How is that?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, a lot of guys don't really get to experience that, so I'm just super fortunate. I know my parents like it a lot. They get to come to a lot of the home games, really. So I mean, it's special. And I mean, I can't really take it for granted, you know.
And how about your love for baseball? I mean, you're 6'7", obviously. Played basketball. Was there a moment where you decided, or you just knew you were a baseball player and not a basketball player?
I think I knew like real early on. I just think for me, like I could hit in the cage until my hands were killing me, and I just think with baseball, like the practice and all that, it never really felt like work. I always enjoyed it. So I think once I realized that, I think that's when I knew like baseball was my sport.
And what part of the game is most fun for you? Is it, obviously you're a slugger, but hitting defensively? Do you get, joy out of throwing somebody out, with a good throw, making a diving catch? What part do you love the most?
I mean, I think everything. I mean, I think, like, obviously hitting home runs and hitting doubles is a lot of fun, but I think I take a lot of pride in my defense and my base running, so I just think taking away a hit and taking extra base are just as fun to me.
How about you guys had a bump in the road, bad losing streak, but how did you work through that? Because you guys were playing good baseball, you just lost some games, things didn't go your way. It wasn't like you were totally out of it and you couldn't compete. How did you go through that patch and be able to say, we're a good group and we can get through that?
Yeah, I mean, I just think just having the confidence in ourselves, and I think early on we showed what we were capable of, and it's like you said, it's just a bump in the road, and I mean, I think just knowing that what you're able to get back to, it makes it easier to kind of go through those struggles.
Last thing, like what they're building here, you guys got a lot of young players, some guys who, look like they're going to be good players for a long time. Josiah Gray's been hurt. He's going to eventually come back. It feels like the team is building something for the future. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, I mean, I think we got a lot of young talent here, and we got a lot of vets that we can lean on and kind of learn from. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of potential in our locker room, and I just think it's kind of on us to just get the best version out of each other.
All right, our guest, James Wood from the Washington Nationals, the slugger. See you at the All-Star game in Atlanta, maybe?
We'll see, hopefully.
Yeah, that'll be great. All right, buddy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
In case you missed Rob Parker on the MLB Network, here's his latest appearance on MLB Now.
The showdown is not meant to cause offense or harm. The viewer acknowledges any reliance on the accuracy or completeness of said content should be done at their own discretion. The host apologizes in advance for any affront as a result of personal attacks.
We love Rob Parker in the showdown here in the flesh, baby.
I
will talk to you the same way right in front of you. That's it.
Let's do it.
You're an opinionated sort of fellow. I thought it was pretty funny because you predicted before the season started that Juan Soto would struggle. Then he became Juan Soso, as you say. What do you say now, though? Be fair.
I'm going to be fair. And BK, it's not as if he's having like this terrible season and you have the numbers, but it doesn't feel as good. It really doesn't. If you're a Mets fan, you are expecting extra white meat and a biscuit. there's something missing. The 256 batting average.
Potatoes? What are we missing?
Something
I don't know.
missing in the meal. The 256 doesn't feel good. He had a great June, and that's why things have turned around. But still, I don't feel like he's the best player. He's 765. He's made the Mets, which was a good team last year, even better.
I'm going to be fair, too. You wanted the splash that he showed last year with the Yankees.
Absolutely.
Last year was a splash.
What did he do when he showed up in Houston on the opening day?
Threw a guy out.
Right, and had the game-winning hit.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah,
and it was right from Jump Street.
Yeah. And the lack of effort, even our guys are pushing back. Our researchers like, come on, he's top 10 in the league in hitting. He is. He's had good at-bats all year. He works hard there. He didn't work hard in other situations, though, and that's on him. Come on, you're the highest paid guy in the history of the franchise and the sport. I think there's no excuse for that because he's supposed to represent something. That was disappointing.
And it doesn't look like he's happy. I mean, and that's just, I'm reading into it. You should be happy 765.
Should be very happy.
But he doesn't look like he's like really
He's got a suite. Didn't he want the suite? He got a
Yes.
suite. Yankees wouldn't give him a suite. But he's top 10 in hitting now. Want to be fair. Juan Soto right now, top 10 in hitting in all of baseball. That's very good. He's delivering. He's not delivering.
I'll remove the so-so for now.
So advised. Are you ready to remove the brakes? You're always pumping the brakes, famously, on Ellie De La Cruz. He's a top 5 shortstop right now. He's played in all 81. The guy's making it happen. Perhaps it's not the MVP season that I saw coming. All right, okay. I know before you could throw that my way in my face again, but that's a good year he's having. Very good year.
I'm going to give it up to you. It took a couple years. You were ready to put him in the All-Star game after a couple of weeks.
I wanted to wave Hall of Fame.
All I was saying was, let's wait a little bit, and now we're starting to see him mature. Mm-hmm. And you know what? The strikeout rate is the thing that I kept pushing back on you, that he struck out way too much. His first year, he batted .235. That wasn't good with a ton of strikeouts. Yeah. And I think it's down 6% his strikeout rate. So he is making those steps. His batting average is higher. I'm going to give it to you. He's en route to being the star that you wanted him to be.
Okay, I thought
after
yes, completely fair. In spring training, I thought he was going to explode onto the league because the tools are so outrageous, and he gets it. I think he gets. He's not quite polished at shortstop, but he's always working. And I think he's at a certain point last year, he was ready to get into the MVP conversation, and then he hit a swoon. So he has to prove himself this summer. As it gets hotter and hotter, and his team is good, that he doesn't do that. He continues on this pace. And hey, a top 5 shortstop in the golden age of shortstops, that's a superstar player.
Yeah. No, and I talked to a lot of people with the Reds. I was actually in Cincinnati on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And they all love him, and they all think that he's put in the
And
work
he
and all
runs.
that.
Yes. Look, he's on the bases. He tears it up. That's what we want to see. You want to see effort. All right, you went on a ballpark trip. You're in the middle of the ballpark
Yes.
trip now? You're touring the country. Tell us about your trip.
So I've been Chicago Monday, Cincinnati Tuesday. I did the Mets game last night here in New York. Going to the Yankees-A's on Saturday, and then the Tigers and Twins. My buddies from high school, we had kind of a reunion. We all went to high school, Martin Van Buren High School, the 8 of us.
In Queens.
In Queens.
Yeah.
We all got together.
Nice.
First time in years.
Oh, it's tremendous.
45-year friendship. It was awesome.
Wow. What's your favorite park, then, from what you've seen? Or just ballpark experience? Who does it best?
I would get my favorite ballpark is Pac Bell. I know they don't call it that. What is it, Oracle in San Francisco?
Yeah.
I like to still call it.
That's gorgeous, right?
Yeah,
right.
just absolutely.
What about
gorgeous.
ballpark experience as far as like blaring music, not blaring music, mascots, things being shot into the stands? Who does it best?
I'm going to say of all of them, I'm out at Dodger Stadium a lot.
Yeah.
So I like what they do there.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what?
Where'd you go?
Well, no, it's beautiful. Last time my ears were splitting. Okay. I bet people. I don't know who loves the blaring, thumping music that they're pounding at you and they're screaming at you. Make some noise, and it's like it's the World Series. We know how to make noise. That makes me. And then people will accuse me. Oh no, you're an old guy. It's like no one likes this. Like who likes? What kids are jumping around going? Oh, this is great. I can't hear a thing. I can't have a conversation.
Thing, when I first went to Dodger Stadium as a beat reporter covering the Reds, covering the game, I go there. This is in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Everybody at the ballpark had a radio listening to Vince Scully. No. It was the most unbelievable. You remember, go to the ballpark to listen to Vince Scully while you're at the ballpark.
You can't do that now. You can't listen to whoever's calling the games on the radio now because you can't hear a thing. Right. I'm blasting you now on that. But no, of course, again, you go to a major league stadium, you feel that you're in the rare air. I liked Cincinnati, and that was a few years ago. I went to Cincinnati, and I could have a conversation. I could hear the murmur of the crowd. And, all right, that sounds sleepy? No, it's exciting. For me, the baseball game a major league game is enough.
Okay, and the way you just said, Oracle, Pittsburgh, right? PNC, and Camden Yards. Those are my three.
No Wrigley Fenway. Fenway,
I count those out.
They're separate.
Because they're great. We know that.
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, good stuff.
When Rob was a newspaper columnist, he lived by this motto. If I'm writing, I'm ripping. Let's bring in a writer or broadcaster, old or new.
Now let's welcome into the podcast Sweeny Murti, who is a longtime friend of mine and from MLB Media. Sweeny, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. I think it's like 30 years you and I have been working together in some capacity, right?
At least. On Friday, the Yankees open up a 3-game series against the A's in the Bronx, and that will be like almost exactly the halfway point. It'll be the Yankees' 80th game, so I thought this would be a great time for us to do like a mid-season awards outlook on, some of the big awards that we expect at the halfway point. Aaron Judge, let's start there, the American League MVP. He's won it a few times, and here we go, off to a great start in 2025. Aaron Judge, or the catcher for the Mariners, who has 31 home runs he hit in his first 75 games. Who do you like for AL MVP?
Yeah, I think, Judge is going to be the guy to beat. Cal Raleigh's had an amazing season, and maybe he's going to hit more home runs. I don't know that. But if you look at where Judge is, Yankees are a first place team. You expect them to be a playoff team. If Seattle's a playoff team and Cal Raleigh is the driving force, then he'll certainly get some consideration. But if you're going to look at the historic nature of Judge's season, if it continues in this path, if he's going to be leading in average and on base and slugging again, if he's going to at least contend for a triple crown, then I think you have to recognize that, because that's kind of where he's been with his MVPs so far, the 2 that he's already won. Think about this with I never thought that, Judge was going to battle 400. That's just something that nobody does. But even if he's in this range where he stays over 350, let's just set the bar there. That's something that if you look at in Yankee history, if you take out Ruth and Gehrig, the only guys in a Yankee uniform have hit over 350, DiMaggio, Mattingly, Mantle. that's going to be hard for anybody to topple when you're talking about an MVP.
All right, let's go to the AL Cy Young. Tarek Skubal with the Tigers, of course, had the Triple Crown last year. One of the best pitchers in the game. He's off to another fantastic start. Hunter Brown for the Astros. And then Jacob deGrom with the Rangers has put together an impressive season. AL Cy Young, is it Skubal with the Tigers?
I'll throw another name at you, Max Fried with the Yankees, who's had an amazing season. I'd like to see where all these final numbers go as people go down the stretch here. You know, you don't win the Cy Young in the first half of the season. So I think Skubal is the guy to beat because he is the defending winner. And you mentioned the Triple Crown last year. I'd like to see where Freed ends up here in battling him. Because again, he's going to have opportunities to win games, and I know we don't necessarily reward wins anymore for pitchers, but when you rack up a lot of them, you have to pay attention. So I think those are the guys I would. To me, it's Freed versus Skubal. I think as you watch the second half unfold.
I think that's fair. I really do. Our guest is Sweeny Murti from MLB Media, social media guru over there doing all kinds of stuff. Let's go to the National League. Shohei Ohtani is unbelievable. He's a unicorn. But coming into Sunday, batting 291, ton of home runs, a small amount of RBIs. And I get it. He's a pitcher, so everybody thinks he should win the MVP if he pitches and hits. But Pete Crow Armstrong is having a really fantastic season for the Cubs as well. Where are you? Is it just Shohei? As long as he pitches, where are you on the National League MVP?
I mean, he's leading off most of the time. He's hitting a lot of solo home runs. You know, he's batting in the leadoff spot.
But
You know,
here's my
that's
only issue. He batted leadoff last year and knocked in 130.
yeah.
This year he was on pace for like 79 or 80 RBI. So you can't tell me like it was all because of the other people on base. And I'm just saying I don't think that that's fair.
I'm saying that's part. Well,
last
that's part of it. He was having a better season last year, but it's about RBIs are dependent on the guys in front of you, and so that's a big part of it. I think Shohei's OPS is if that's going to lead the league and he's going to be in that 40, 50 home run range again. I don't see any reason he can't be the MVP. Pete Crow Armstrong's having an amazing season. I'd love to see where he goes, where he finishes, and where the Cubs finish. But if you're going to tell me that second half is going to feature Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher as well, that's going to be hard to knock him off the MVP pedestal there. That's a big reason why he won the American League MVP. Obviously, he wasn't a factor last year because he didn't pitch. But if he's going to pitch and pitch well, we saw him throw a scoreless inning on Sunday, and you know what his potential is there. If he's going to throw, boy, Robbie, I don't know if he's going to pitch, 60 innings. I'm making up numbers here because I haven't done the math. But if he's going to throw me 50 or 60 innings at an elite rate in the second half of the season and hit the way he is, I have a hard time seeing him not. I have a hard time believing he's not going to be the MVP.
Okay, let's go to NL Cy Young, Yamamoto with the Dodgers. He's a top contender. He's the ace of the Dodgers staff now. And also Paul Skeens, who was Rookie of the Year last year in the National League. Those seem to be the two top front runners for NL Cy Young. Where are you?
Yeah, I was trying to see if there was going to be a closer that, simply because Skeens won't necessarily rack up the wins because of the team he's on. I was looking to see if there were any closers in the mix that are just blowing away that field, and nobody jumps out to me right now. I've got it unless Yamamoto goes on one of these second half runs with the Dodgers. I got to think, and unless Skeens has a little bit of a blow up that's going to cause that ERA to jump up. I got to think it's his to lose at this point, right? I think we all look at him as the best pitcher in the league and waiting for him to throw up the best stats. And if that ERA still stays, pristine, if that is an elite ERA going into August and September, I think you've got the makings of a real special season there, and he would be probably my front runner at this point.
There it is, the halfway point, the major awards in Major League Baseball. Thanks to Sweeny Murti for joining us here on Inside the Parker. Sweeny, always a pleasure, my man. I appreciate you.
Robbie, great talking to you.
Always.
Now, here's the best from MLBbro.com.
What's up, everyone? This is Justin Petrilli from MLBbro.com, and I'm here to tell you what's poppin'. Christian Moore is starting to break out in the show. On June 24th, Moore had his best performance as a big leaguer. He had 2 home runs, including a walk-off 2-run shot in the bottom of the 10th and 3 RBI. He was responsible for all 3 of the Angels' runs in that win. He's gotten 5 RBI in his last 3 games and has a .677 OPS in 13 games in the bigs. The 22-year-old second baseman was drafted 8th overall in 2024 out of the University of Tennessee, in which he spent 3 years there. In his 3rd and final year, he set the school's single-season record for home runs and was a crucial part to the 2024 College World Series. After being drafted by the Halos, he played a total of 79 games for the single, double, and AAA affiliates and batted a combined .302 with 11 home runs and 52 RBI. With the Angels having the longest current postseason drought in the league, they've been desperate for a culture change and new energy. Moore's been bringing a high energy and has championship experience at the amateur level, so it'll be very interesting to see if he can have a ripple effect on the club as a whole, as he looks to be the future everyday second baseman for the team. That's what's popping today on MLBbro.com.
It's sponsored by MLB Bro, because you need to know.
That ball is.
It was a big week in the big leagues.
Who's up? Who's up?
I don't believe it! My, oh my!
Is it foul or is it fair? And now, from MLBbro.com, here's J.R. Gamble.
Hey, JR. Chase Burnes made his Major League debut and struck out 8 batters, including the first 5 outs of his Major League career. Is it foul or fair to say that he's the real deal?
Fair. It's rare that a highly touted pitching prospect like 6'3", 210-pound Chase Burnes comes up and it's almost lights out in his first start. Sure, he gave up a few runs, but striking out the first 5 New York Yankee batters, something that hasn't been done in the expansion era dating back to 1961, that's like jump off the page dopeness. The former Wake Forest product, he had all of his pitches going, and he was topping 100 miles an hour on some of them. I am amazed personally by the movement on his pitches. They're wicked, and he has years left to perfect them, which is scary. He looked like a vet out there. Some are already projecting multiple Cy Young awards, health willing. What excites me with Chase Burnes is the thought of watching him and Hunter Green in the same rotation. When Green returns to the Reds from his nagging injuries, that's going to be something. Those two have a chance to be the best 1-2 bro punch in a starting rotation, maybe in MLB Bro history. Yeah, I said it. The Reds are slowly putting the pieces together, and Chase Burnes definitely puts fannies in the seats as must-watch TV, right up there with Tariq Skubal, Paul Scanes, and other generational arms. So look out for Chase Burnes. He's the real deal and prove that in Start 1.
Make way for weekend wagers.
Yo, it's Sean Bo. Fire up those bed naps. Let's go. It was a rough week last week. 0 wins, 2 losses, brings the season total to 14, up 12 down. But let's get it right this week and go 2-0. And you know when we started off, we're going to start it off in the Boogie Down Bronx, where the Bombers, the New York Yankees, welcome in those West Sac A's. And when the A's are in town, you know that long ball is leaving the building. Go ahead and bet on the Bros, Giancarlo and Aaron Judge, to go over that 8.5 total runs. The A's will pitch in here and there, but you know they're good for that over 8.5 total runs. Saturday, let's double up on this matchup. And in the second game of the series, we're taking the Yankees. -1.5 on the run line. They should do damage to those A's.
Hi, I'm Rob Parker, the founder and editor of MLBbro.com, where we cover black and brown major leaguers. 75% of the content will be about the current black and brown stars in Major League Baseball. The other 25%, we'll take a look back at some of the great black players. On the site, there'll be a ton of great written stories and videos and features.
MLBbro, because you need to know.
MLB fans, when it comes to Major League Baseball, no one covers it better than the Odd Couple.
Fact. I am the baseball king.
First, second, third, and home.
We're leading shows with baseball. Game over. They don't watch it. They don't know the game.
All in one place.
Let's go!
Right here on Fox Sports Radio.
I love baseball.
In the words of New York TV legend, the late Bill Jorgensen, thanking you for your time this time until next time. Rob Parker, out.
He can't get it. This could be an inside to Parker.
See you next week. Same bat time, same bat station.